Hello and welcome SpeedGaming community. We are in another day of the A Link to the Past main tournament bracket. This one is a first round game and it's game 3 between MalXantholos and P-Train. The last possible mode for them was open. Let's see what happened here. On my side today is Drowsy. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm great. After game 2, I'm just hoping for something that isn't quite that long.
Hopefully.
And for those of you who didn't see game 2 between these runners, see game 2. Not to spoil too much, but both of them last located their go mode, and it was a different go mode for each of them.
Yes, it was a Castle Tower required seed and both of them required the last needed key.
But yes, here we are in open, which should be shorter than Cross Hunt, we hope.
Hopefully.
But yeah, whoever wins this will advance to the round of 32. So, some stakes here. Especially, well, P-Train didn't make it out of the first round last year after 3 years of really high place finishes. Mal, on the other hand, did make it to the second round, but not beyond.
And sadly, we have no timer on P-Train's side. I double checked it.
He sometimes does that. But yeah, P-Train taking what I would consider slightly more conservative route to check Lumberjack on the way. Mal going straight for Lost Woods. And Lumberjack is vanilla. Won't need that. Ooh, very nice bush crab drop to fill us up on bombs quickly.
Yes, that's really nice.
But yeah, Mal's probably from the school of thought of don't check Lumberjack until you have boots.
And we got a red goo and Lost Woods hideout.
Always nice to be able to hit up Sick Kid your first time in CAC. And that was a quick map check. I caught a pendant on Hera.
And I think we got green pendant on Eastern.
Oh no, those were regular crystals on Hera and Desert. Early lamp. Let's hope that doesn't mean Aga for Dark World access. Early sword.
So if we now get another sword or cape, nice rod, it's maybe required Castle Tower seed.
Yeah. Yeah, the runners probably aren't too happy to see that combination quite so early here. Early Ice Rod no doubt means that Turtle Rock is a pendant.
It's a never-ending meme.
I mean, we wouldn't expect the seed to be nice to us and not make us have to go on the Ice Rod hunt and actually need the Ice Rod. And there's Bombos, which we may or may not need in the back of the well.
Here is the Moon Pearl.
So this seed could be very serious about wanting us to do early Dark World through Aga.
We lost 80 bucks on bottle vendor.
I'm wondering about the early sick kid. Check if he'll have anything for us. We're about to find out.
We will see it now. A piece of
Nope.
love. Next thing will be library check and race game.
Yeah. We're sort of away from East Dark World access, but without anything more than that, we won't even get much if we were to do AGA.
And we will never see library again, just a piece of heart. And there is a glove on race game.
I think we're going to do race game. And hey, that means we're sort of away from catfish access. Also means we're a second glove or a hammer away from regular Dark World access, which the runners are probably hoping for.
And with the glove, we get more options to check.
So we're immediately going to back of escape. That makes sense.
Absolutely.
What's impressive is P-Train not scouting race game and just doing it was enough for him to make up the time he spent scouting Lumberjack. Well, definitely doing Dark Cross. Or the front in general, I guess. Mal's doing Dark Cross from here.
Makes sense. We got the lamp.
Right, and they gave us the key to do it straight away. P-Train's going in the front. P-Train probably still is hedging against what if there's a map in Dark Cross.
But at first he will do the uncle checks.
And that's just a heart container at Dark Cross for all that. But that's a fair amount of money. The glove does put Zora in logic.
That's true. Oh, we got more divergence in the routing.
Yeah, Mal doing a more conventional South Shore route. P-Train does want to see Dark Cross, but only if he does it in conjunction with the front of Escape, so we're going to see that as well.
Yeah, makes sense. I think he's hoping there is just a map, so it's not required for him.
But we know from elimination that the map has to be somewhere here in the front.
Yes.
Like there.
It's vanilla.
Indeed. Maybe that means a vanilla boomerang as well. And there's another 300 in the flooded spot, so between the two runners, we know that we have easy access to Zora money.
That's true.
Vanilla boomerang! Is this even randomized?
I think so.
And there's the hammer. Goodbye forever, Aga. P-Train setting up the death warp here. $50 in the basement. Didn't want to waste any precious bombs, so he was waiting for the guard to get unstunned to death warp. Chat asking about Moon Pearl. That was in Cackwell, I believe.
Also think it was so well.
But yeah, if Mal is doing this start now, I'm assuming this is a hype cave play. Yeah, he's got the hammer out. And you can see by how many checks Mal has done while P-Train's been in escape why runners hate doing the front of escape and open. But I really can't blame P-Train. You have to wonder what that lamp is pointing us to.
Here is the other boomerang.
It is likely that at some point, since Mal hasn't even done Uncle, that he will do the front of escape and give that time back to P-Train. And Pod is a pendant.
And we got the reds on Maya and Thieves Town.
And our other pendant, that was still too fast for me to see. Swamp, I think? No, ice, our tracker's saying.
Talking about tracking. Big thanks to our tracker Arbu, who is keeping us up to date on this race.
P-Train scouting Desert Ledge, finding nothing there. Mal is finishing up the South Dark World route at Dig Game, which is just vanilla. And P-Train sure is getting a lot of money. I wonder if he's gonna do fake flipper checks and Lupin Zora here. Of course, he'll get his Dark World access in Mini Moldorm Cave, so it's also entirely possible he doesn't even bother with Ice Rod Cave and just goes straight to Dark World at this point. And Mal heading to Village of Outcasts. Right, we have a full clearable Thieves guaranteed, since we have the hammer.
And 3 additional checks here in the village.
There's the Fire Rod in Vu, so we can just go up and do Skull Woods after we finish Thieves Town.
On this point, it was a good decision to do the village before checking Skullwoods.
Yeah, and looks like P-Train, for the moment, is going to follow in Mal's footsteps and go to Hype Cave.
Makes absolutely sense. I mean, 5 quick checks.
Okay, now I'm actually seeing the Dark World map for long enough to confirm that yes, Pot and Ice are our pendants. Sword and Thieves, okay.
Wait, did we get 2 swords in the front of Thieves Town?
No, one of the swords was on Stumpy.
Okay.
But yeah, West Dark World is certainly being nice with giving us swords. As P-Train's about to get his Master Sword.
Yes, and to having now Tempered Sword make it easier for the runner, even when I'm thinking about Skullwoods.
But even as this seed has given us breadcrumbs, we still have a lot of items left to find.
That's true.
We haven't even seen Saha's closet yet. Eastern and Pod are both pendants, so wouldn't surprise me if someone just does Saha's closet as kind of a one-off check. Because otherwise you hope you have no reason to be in that area.
I mean, I'm just thinking a lot on this point, but I mean, it's an option to do Pod Eastern area, finish Eastern, and go directly to Sahasrara for checking Green Pendant.
Yeah, that's 4 items from Eastern and 5 items from Pod, and it takes a while, and we'd have to get a bow first anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But as I said, I'm just thinking aloud on this point.
And Vanilla Key and Blind Cell, so we do have to check Big Chest.
Also, P-Train decides to do Village of Outcast before going to Skullwoods.
Yep. So, still following in Mal's footsteps. The time difference is due to P-Train doing Uncle in front of Escape. For those of you who've recently tuned in. And Mal gets the 5-6 crystal out of Thieves. Really, Tempered Sword was the only item of any sort of interest in there.
Now we will get a look into C-shaped house.
Yeah, both runners went into Thieves without checking this, and there's the mirror. Kind of a useful item to have, I would say.
Yes, the mirror in combination with the hammer opens up the mountain. And it also means we can now clear Hera.
Right, so that's 3 crystals we have available.
Xantholos doing from back to the front.
Oh yeah, chat pointing out that both bows could be in Ganon's tower since both Pod and Eastern are pendants.
Makes sense.
Now, of course, the seed would not force you to climb without a bow. It's not expecting you to mimic clip. I know there was nothing interesting in Middle Skull Woods, but did you happen to catch whether it was... Oh, no, it must have been a small key because Mal's sitting on 2 small keys. And there's our first item in Bridge Chest.
This means 1 item left in Skellwoods.
Yeah, you kind of hope for the gift of having that other item on Moth. You know Moth can't have or block a small key. Okay, what's interesting is Mal is in a slightly awkward position because he didn't get the small key off the mummy, so now he's going into the front with no small keys.
That's annoying.
And Map and Compass both outstanding, so that there is the possibility... Well, we know the big chest won't have a small key because the big key was on Moth. So if the big chest and the map chest have Map and Compass, then you need to go out and drop down to get to the rest of the front. Map in the big chest, sure enough. And Compass. So as I was saying, Mal now has to drop down to get the second item because he didn't get the key off the Gibdo before Moth. This is an opportunity for P-Train to potentially make up a bit of time. And the third item is in Pinball Chest. And Mal's decided he doesn't want it. Or he's going to use the other drop-down, or... He's deciding how he wants to get to Pinball Chest.
He wants to get it, but he exit and
right, so he can
use it.
Yeah, so he can mirrored entrance. And that's an important item.
That's really important. We need it for Maya, TR, and maybe right side GT.
And looks like Mal is going to scout Lumberjack here, or else climb Death Mountain. Or maybe both.
We gotta look onto Bumper Ledge, just the red rupee. Also the information for Xantholos. Lumberjack is just a piece of heart.
Okay, so now Mal's gonna climb the mountain since he ignored his portal.
Yes, makes sense.
Little surprised he didn't check Graveyard Ledge while he was down there, but it is a little bit of a hike.
Yeah, that's true, but on Xantholos' point, it makes more sense to do the mountain. I mean, you got more checks there.
It will give us our third crystal. I'm gonna bet the mitts and or flute are up here.
Three blueberries on Spec Rock. And a heart piece in the cave.
Wow. Very nice moth fight from P-Train, only 2 spikes out. And as discussed, neither runner has been to Saha yet, and that's 3 items just sitting there. Eastern is, of course, Sphere 1 as well, but we don't talk about that. Mal gets a small shield out of Hera, and the big key's vanilla, right?
Yes, it is.
So probably hoping he gets hookshot and can Herapod up here. But the second item in Hera could be the hookshot. I've seen that happen.
It's possible.
Now, P-Train, since he did get the small key from the Gibdo, can just circle around, and he has his mirror portal. Or beginning of dungeon. It's not really a portal, but mirror point at the beginning of the dungeon so that he can walk out.
We got half magic from Spiral Cave. It's always a nice to have.
And the bug net! Yay! And a bottle to remind us why we have the bug net. Wow. We just got all 3 coins before the mitts, so once we can get to the entrances of Meyer and TR, we know we can open them.
Xantholos is not finishing Hera yet.
Yeah, that's a little bit suspect. I guess he's just hoping that the second item is junk, or that the hookshot shows up soon.
I mean, on one point, I can understand him. Yes, you never want to do basement. Sometimes it feels more like a time waste. But on the other side, 2 items and a full clearable crystal.
Well, we got 1 item.
Yes, that's true.
If both items were upstairs, that might have affected his calculations.
And we talked about pod eastern area. Here it is.
Yeah, we're running out of other things to do. We do have Zora and Catfish in Logic. Saha's Closet is garbage. And P-Train is going to get the vanilla big key to Hera and climb.
So that will mean we will get a look onto the second item in Hera.
Yeah, now, if Mal can turn up the hook shot, then he'll save time here. If the hook shot is behind, whatever's upstairs in Hera, then P-Train saves time because he saved himself a mountain climb.
That's true.
Not surprisingly, Pod is not bow-locked, because then we'd really be running low on locations.
Now we will get the answer about Hera.
Oh, flippers are in Pod, so we do absolutely have to go into Pod.
And with the flippers in our hand, this will mean we can do all water checks.
Chat pointing out the hook shot could be in Swamp now.
That's true.
And second item in Hera was nothing, but P-Train does get a crystal for his troubles.
And we get bottle number 3 on the bow-locked side of Pod.
And we know from that key layout that the back of Pod is not bow-locked. And so far, just keys in the back and a compass. Harmless Hellway must be a small key, so we can skip that.
Yes, that's true.
So between Dark Maze and Helma King, we have 3 items in the map, but we of course can't get to Helma King.
Yes, for Helma there is a bow required.
And
One item on Helma.
Yep. Ooh, but Mit's in Pod Big Chest, so that's opened up a lot. We could do Ice Palace.
Ice is open. We also can do Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, but it doesn't really get us much. I mean, I guess we could do TR. I was just thinking that, like, Spike Cave isn't in Logic, and we can't do anything in Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's our first scout of Lake Hylia Island, and it's garbage.
Also, P-Train will play the Pod Eastern combination. We got a mail upgrade.
Almost got the God Pod there. Not God Pod, God Eastern. But yes, there's an item left. It is either in Big Key Chest or on the boss, which we can't reach without the bow.
So, God Eastern will mean map and compass are on Armor Knights and Big Key Chest.
Right. Which we almost had until we opened the big chest and found the map there. Ooh! Wow.
That's nice.
Yeah! For those of you who might have looked away, that was Boots in Eastern Big Key Chest.
Boots are always nice to have, especially when I'm thinking about desert, which is maybe boots locked and also maybe an important item on GT Torch. And we'll get a first look on the TR medallion. It's Ether.
Good thing we picked that up then. Wonder if Mal does Hera even if he doesn't pull the hook shot. P-Train did not want a potion camera unlock.
We know that he got the red goo.
Right. That was really early. Also, he has 2 bottles, I'm just realizing, because he did do Paradox Cave. Mal remembers that he doesn't have the hook shots, so he does the torches in TR the way the game intended you to. But yes, regarding the discussion of pod small key logic in chat, basically, as long as shooter chest is a small key and there aren't 2 small keys on the right side, the back isn't bow locked, and neither is the big key chest. Because if there's only one small key on the right side, then the bow's locking that. But de facto, since you can't get to Helma King without the bow, you can't unlock the small key door in the basement, so the logic recognizes that, okay, I can't get one key, but I also can't use one key, so it's a wash.
So Peter knows there must be a small key on Hellway, so it's time for a dark maze.
And here's P-Train's mitts. There's Bottle 4 in Lava Chest. Oh, P-Train didn't go into Eastern. P-Train doesn't have boots.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad.
And for all we know, Desert is boots locked.
It's maybe boots locked, we don't know.
And P-Train also forgot that he doesn't have the hook shot and needs to go around the top.
So we get the first part of TR finish on MalXantholos side. Next up is Mimic Cave.
Yeah, so Mal now has a considerable lead.
Red Rupee in Mimic Cave.
For those of you who might not be familiar with P-Train, he hovers the gap to Trinex for fun.
So this means he can hover.
Yes. I mean, the people in chat discussing it know that, but there are others in chat who might not be familiar with him.
So next stop is Laser Bridge.
So we haven't really found any progression in TR.
I'm surprised.
But it is a crystal.
It's a red crystal. So
No, Myers red crystal.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
It's funny, Mal still hasn't done Uncle. Not that there's anything on Uncle, it's just funny that he hasn't been there.
And he also did not the front of Escape or front of the castle.
Right, but That's a bit less surprising. That's part of the time difference between the runners, but most people would have checked Uncle by now.
But at the moment, the routing works really well for Xantholos. So, next stop, Super Bunny Cave.
Oh, and he is going to check the one chest in Hookshot Cave that is in Logic. Or maybe he'll hover and do all of them.
I don't sure if we can hover.
P-Train, if he had the boots, would certainly hover and do all of them.
But the first chest was nothing. And here is the loot. This will open up Maya for us. And also desert, because we got the mirror.
So Mal is still gambling correctly on Hookshot not being upstairs in Hera.
Here comes King's Tomb.
Oh! There's our first bow. Decidedly boots locked.
Get your boots and use some big key chest to find your bow. And of course we will now see bunk rocks. With a single rupee.
Now there is always the possibility that the bow is hard required if Helma King or Green Pendant has the hook shot. But that's the only situation where bow would be hard required.
Or another possibility, but I'm just thinking aloud, there is a required item on pet. What also means we need the bow to clear the pedestal, pendants.
Okay, true.
So pet is still an option, and if we need to pull the pet, we need the bow to clear Eastern and pot.
But that would also depend on the key layout of Ice Palace, making Cold Stare not hookshot locked.
That's true.
And I don't think either runner wants to go into ice anytime soon.
So I think after checking Maya Shati, Xantholos will go to desert maybe? No. Doing Miss Maya makes also sense.
Yeah, and he'll combo this with desert, I'm sure.
Yes, I mean we got the mirrors, so it's our access to Desert Paris. And I mean it's also possible to find the hookshot here in Maya.
The funny thing is, P-Train's about to be up in the crystal count.
Yeah, that's true, because he did Hera.
And again, Mal just banking on getting the hook shot before he needs to go to Hera. Which he will be able to do, and we don't even know where the hookshot is.
We know it's not in Hera.
Right. That's why we know he will be able to put off finishing Hera until he has the hookshot.
But you told it earlier. It's also possible to find maybe a vanilla or French vanilla hookshot in Swamp.
Yes. Oh, there are bad places the hookshot can be, that's for sure.
I mean, the front is in logic. We got flippers, we got the hammer, and here is the book.
Well, that just opened 2 checks, and we can read bed.
Yes. But I don't think that the runner will check the pet now, because both have done Skull Woods.
Yeah, it's not something you're rushing to do. You're hoping that the hookshot is anywhere but Ped. Like, I think Ped is pretty much your last location at this point.
So here is the route for P-Train, but the question is, will he do Eastern? We know there are the boots.
Well, P-Train has Meyer available is the thing, so he's definitely doing Meyer next. We'll find out soon if Desert is boots locked or not.
Yeah, but the thing is, P-Train have no hookshot, no boots, so he can do nothing.
Oh, he can't go into Meyer, right. You are right. It's so rare for that to actually come up. Yeah, so does P-Train go into Desert and find out? Yeah, he's going into Desert.
And we got a vanilla big key in Meyer.
Fun!
Also known as the cutscene chest.
We still haven't seen any of the flippers checks.
That's true. The man under the bridge is open, so area is open.
Good old catfish.
Pyramid ledge. When you're talking about catfish.
Honestly, if Mal still doesn't have hookshot by the time he finishes Meyer and Desert, his densest plays are probably Smith Chain and Pyramid Fairy into Catfish.
Makes absolutely sense. I mean, he just
Goodbye
finished
forever, Bernacane.
Torch.
Yep. But it does mean Desert isn't boots locked.
This is good for P-Train.
Though I think the amount of time it takes to walk to Eastern Big Key Chest, might still be less than the amount of time that Mal is saving with the boots.
But yeah, I think you're right. After finishing Desert, we can do Smith Chain, Hammer Packs in combination with Red Bomb Pyramid and Catfish. Interesting
choice by P-Train to go here and check the big key chest, especially when you don't have boots and this takes time. It's 50-50 whether the second item's here or on landmark. Though it is there, so we would have been doing it anyway.
3 blueberries, a second item. You're not happy to see that. Especially on P-Train's side, because he wants to do Maya and he needs boots or hookshot.
Well, unless the hookshot's in Pyramid Fairy, boots aren't locking the hookshot. Of course, hookshot and Pyramid Fairy would mean boots are hard required because you have to get into Mire somehow.
Yes, that's true. So
And boots
runners...
could also still be hard required if GT Big Key's on the torch.
Or maybe the second bow. I mean, if you see the Zobos on torch, you take it.
Right, but we've seen P-Train Mimic Clip already, so if he has to do a Bolus Climb, he'll just Mimic Clip.
You can also do a hookless climb, but the thing is, for hookless, you need boots.
But that's moot anyway, because we need Hook for Swamp.
Oh yeah, true. Swamp is another crystal.
Yep, we are not getting into GT without the hook shot.
So yes, we will, in this case, we will never see a hookless GT climb because hookshot is required to get into GT. And now we will get a look into the sour area.
Yeah, P-Train skipping Hobo for the time being.
Waterfall Ferry is nothing.
Mal is routing Desert the way I probably would have. You know, gambling on Lamo and then going back for the second item in the big chest.
Makes absolutely sense. So well, let's just 10 sticks.
Great, sticks on Zora Ledge and sticks on Zora. And of course those sticks in Checkerboard Cave.
And sticks for 500 bucks. This will mean you will for each stick 50 bucks. This is really expensive.
So where's P-Train off to now? Smith Chain? Probably Smith Chain.
So. I think so, yes.
But as discussed, Smith Chain is probably Mal's densest check area now.
Just to catching up the people, P-Train are missing his boots and he will find it in Eastern Big Key chest. But he didn't know.
But looks like Mal is doing flippers checks now. Hey, we're gonna see Hobo.
Oh, the man under the bridge. And I think we will hammer packs. Or not.
Allison pointing out that Pyramid Fairy is actually a pretty dense check for Mal because he still hasn't done Hyrule Castle, so he can combo all that. Also, Smith is slightly better for MalXantholos than for P-Train because P-Train doesn't have the book, so he can't route in Bombos as part of this.
Yes, and we know the book is boots locked because it's a Maya.
Well, it could be hookshot locked, as long as the hookshot isn't on either of the tablets, or behind either of the tablets.
Yes, but with the thing we don't know where the hookshot is, so this is the reason why I said it's boots locked.
So, looks like P-Train might be going for Hookless Swamp here, while MalXantholos is going to get the big bomb. Which also means he should finally be doing Uncle in the front of Escape unless, Hookshot is in fact on Pyramid Ferry or on the Pyramid. No, P-Train is going to do Pyramid from this side, okay. Or, no, he's doing Hobo from this direction, I see. Well, it wasn't sitting on Pyramid Ledge all this time.
We got the 300 bucks and nothing on the Pyramid Ferry.
Okay.
And now we will see the front of the card in combination with the Uncle on Xantholos side.
Yeah, but Mal's doing this with boots, and P-Train didn't have boots for it, so he won't give back all the time that P-Train spent. I'm not really sure what P-Train's outs even are at this point.
This looks like catfish, maybe. Yes, it is.
And Mal is just saying goodbye forever to the front of Escape. Because, Mal's clearly said goodbye forever to the front of Escape. He said goodbye forever to the Heraclimb. And from our perspective, what even is there? The two tablets and front of Swamp and Ice?
Yes.
And I guess the stuff related to the other pendants and pedestal.
Yes, we can finish Pot, we can finish Eastern, we can turn in Green Pendant. After finishing Eastern, we can play Ice.
Okay, so Mal is now going to do Smith Chain, while P-Train goes into Hookless Swamp. But Smith Chain will wind MalXantholos up at Hookless Swamp, assuming it isn't on Bombos tablet, which, as we said, is a check that Mal can do that P-Train couldn't.
Yes, because the book is in Maya.
Unless Mal is so allergic to Hookless Swamp that he goes for ice instead. But Hookless Swamp is going to be more convenient when you've just done Purple Chest and Bombos.
When I'm thinking about checks and density, I think it would make more sense to do Hookless Swamp before going into ice.
Well, Hookless Swamp really depends on whether the map and compass are in the front, which you of course don't know. There may only be 2 items here. There may be 4.
That's true. But the thing is, you don't know it.
And you also don't know whether parts of Ice Palace are logically hookshot locked.
That's also true.
But interestingly, MalXantholos is not... Oh, no, he fluted... So he skipped Cave 45, is that it? I guess he skipped Cave 45.
Yes.
Maybe he does Cave 45 after Purple Chest and before Hookless Swamp?
We have seen Cave 45 from P-Train's side, and we know there is nothing.
I know, I find it odd that he skipped it, so I'm wondering if he's planning to route it in shortly. Oh boy. Well, that's GG's and go mode for MalXantholos at an hour 6. So, boots are hard required because you need the boots to get into Mire to get the book to get the hookshot off of Bombos.
Yes. So, and now I would say the routing of Xanthalos worked well. And the boots are in Eastern and the big key chest. And now we got the info, their boots are required to finish the seed. Oh hey, we got another fetch quest. Mushroom.
And a seed like this is also... You can now see the argument for pseudo boots. Whether you like pseudo boots or not, a seed like this is an argument for it, that you don't get a time difference from one player being able to dash and the other not being able to, but you do still have to find the boots as a possible progression item.
What does mean pseudo boots? Do you mean the pseudo boots?
What?
What do you mean with pseudo boots, the fake boots?
Yeah, the fake boots.
Yes, okay.
Which allow you to dash, but do not allow you to generally bonk things or hover.
Yes, I know.
I say generally because you can bonk the small gap right before Ice Armos. So, with the winner of this game advancing to the round of 32, let's look at the bracket here. The winner, which in all likelihood at this point will be MalXantholos, will face Dracaris. Very scary long-time runner. The other part of this little bracket includes Gamachu and the winner of Plasma Kappa and TJ Maelstrom.
With the hookshot in our hand, we need to get the big key. Or we don't need the big key.
No, we're in go mode. We don't care if our second item's in the big chest.
But we know the last item of Para is on Moldorm.
Right. I just meant that Mal doesn't care whether he gets the last item of Hera or not.
The only thing what he care about is the GT big key.
Oh, right. I guess it is that time. You have a favorite spot for it?
I always take number 14.
Which is often the bottom left of Rando Room, which is my favorite spot for it.
Looks like you got an extra minute. Put your number into the chat. Number between 1 and 22.
Maybe if P-Train gets a bow in Ice Palace, it'll take him to Eastern.
Yeah, I think so. Because we know one bow is boots locked. So check number 1, GT Torch. It's a piece of art.
And MalXantholos is doing the Dark Magician route. We'll see if Hope Room gives us anything. Shovel! And see, this is why you do Hope right. There's going to be a small key there. That was a joke, by the way. That small key isn't guaranteed. I just have a preference for that routing.
$11 checks and still no big key.
Now that is our 12th check.
This was number 13. And next stop is render room.
With the check you and I both expected to be in.
Hopefully. Nope, it's a map. Number 15.
There's the cape. And we never even checked Spike Cave.
That's true.
Butter sword and ice big chest.
It's a nice find.
So does P-Train now flute to Eastern and find his extremely late boots? Looks it.
Now it's time for ice armors.
And if it's not here, it's in tile room.
Number 20.
Which Balrogic guessed. So GG's Balrogic.
Also from my side, GG's to you. And I'm sure Ganon will tell us where to find the silvers. And I'm also sure Petron is not happy to see dead boots.
Yeah, it's just kind of unlucky because, of course, the places where he was thorough, like Front of Escape and climbing Hera, amounted to nothing.
Yes, and after doing bot he decided to go away and not to enter Eastern.
And I can see the argument for that. You just got flippers and mitts. Honestly, P-Train's execution is good enough. It would have been interesting to see if he could have caught MalXantholos if he had done Eastern right after Pod. MalXantholos is sitting on 2 fairies, so he doesn't really need to worry about this beeping, other than the annoyance.
Yeah, that's true. And now it's time to enter Mire for P-Train.
Ooh, upstairs small key, not something you see every day. MalXantholos not even taking the magic refill before Moldorm.
He have a green goo.
Oh, right.
We got the green goo from Pot on the Bullock side.
Right, so we have a green goo, a red goo, and 2 fairies.
No, he used the red goo on the Bullock side of Pot.
Oh, right, because he did. It was just P-Train who mimic clipped. Mal did the potion
Yes,
camera glitch.
Yes, that's true.
Oh. Decides to use one of the fairies preemptively so that we avoid the cutscene if he were to die and get the fairy used automatically.
Three doubles are the go for Ganon. Also, P-Train decides to get cutscene chest.
And Ganon will tell us where those silvers are. Death Mountain. Ether Tablet?
I think so.
So we could have just checked it right next to Hera and gotten silvers, but oh well.
Yeah, but also understand Xantholos because he was in go mode, so...
Oh, sure, that, like, you don't want to take that sort of a gamble. It will save time, but if it's anything other than silvers, it won't save time.
That's true.
I mean, you probably expect at that point to find silvers in the basement. And get your GGs in.
Here we are. MalXantholos finished with an official time of 1 hour 23 minutes and 7 seconds.
And there's the forfeit from P-Train, not surprising.
And here is our winner, GG's.
Thanks, GG's.
And we're also joined by P-Train, GG.
GG's.
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 So I know you guys already figured out the big difference in the race room, but MalXantholos, do you want to talk about routing in Eastern Afterpod?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, when I came to Pod, my idea was that I wanted to play Pod and Eastern, and yeah, then of course Pod had both flippers and mids, and that was a huge sign, of course, to say, or a huge reason to say, okay, I'm gonna go to Mountain now. I'm gonna play Turtle Rock, and all the things that are open now. But yeah, at that point, I just decided to be stubborn and to stick with my play. And yeah, I really regretted it when I was in the middle of Eastern Palace because it felt like I am just wasting 2 minutes there. And yeah, well, in the end it paid off, of course, and that was amazing. But it was it felt quite risky to me at that point. And even then, I mean, the boots, I didn't even realize that the hookshot was actually boots locked until I went to Hera, and because I was just so looking for this hookshot for all this time, and yeah, I wasn't even thinking about logic for quite a while. When I went to Hera, I realized finally, oh my god, those boots were actually required to get this book, and oh god, what a stupid seed.
Yeah, not a very typical logic chain for locking something behind the boots.
Definitely not. Also, both behind those boots.
Yes. We got one bow on King's Tomb, and the second bow must be Ether Tablet.
I think so too, yeah.
So, P-Train, sorry your checks didn't work out because, Front of Escape could have very easily had something.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to feel like too bad about my route. Probably the one decision I probably regret, and I was talking about this in the race room, is that before diving swamp or ice, I probably should have done Eastern. Just because, like if you're trying to meta your opponent, either number one, they could have just rushed Eastern in Sphere 1. It's not likely, but some people do that. Or they could have remained there after pod. So I feel like that was probably an accurate play. Maybe even before committing to like I don't know. Zora's checks are probably fine before doing Eastern, but maybe even before committing to the Smith chain and then the pyramid to catfish and looping and hobo with that. Probably should have done Eastern before that. I don't know that it would have been enough, but that's probably the correct play there.
But hindsight is 20/20, of course.
I mean, sure, but I probably should have figured that out mid race because what was going through my mind, and I can't explain why. I'm not saying it was correct, but I felt like Ice Palace was probably the natural play. Like I almost wanted to do that over the Smith chain and all the over, because I knew like once I did the Smith chain, I probably was committing to doing like catfish and pyramid, just because in this particular seed, pyramid fairy was pretty much not an option. At least from my perspective, Mal probably had a different read on the seed than I did with the boots, but from my perspective, pyramid fairy wasn't easy to get to, so pyramid and catfish had a bit more value. But I don't know. The Zora stuff is probably fine, but really Eastern, when you're just thinking about like items per minute, and then also the fact that your opponent could have gone there easily, like earlier in the seed, I probably should have sussed that one out. But yeah, going into a hookless swamp felt really bad, and then getting baited by the mushroom and the powder felt doubly bad. And then, also one other thing that was going through my mind that just came to mind, like one reason why I opted against Ice Palace is because I didn't want to keep track of what was in logic or out of logic based on the key layout in Ice. Because I was looking for the hook shot, I was like, half the stuff in Ice may not even be in logic anyways, depending on the key layout. So that also was going through my mind. But yeah, getting baited by the powder and the mushroom felt bad. Going into Ice and finding nothing, and then also forgetting that I had the big key whenever I was near the big chest, having to go back in for the gold sword, felt really bad. I already felt like after the swamp dip, I had probably already lost. After Ice Palace, I was like, all right, well, I won't insta forfeit. Like that's probably, bad manners, but I'll play it out. But I at that point, I realized I probably lost, and last locating Sphere 1 boots is, I guess, technically Sphere 2 with the lamp, but yeah, that felt real bad.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate way to go out, especially after what you played through in Game 2 of this series.
I mean, at least this one was quick.
Yeah. Almost
Hour and a
literally
half and
half
we're
the
out.
time.
Yeah, that's true. Way better seed.
I appreciate Mal just catching the golden snitch there and putting me out of my misery.
Yeah.
GG's on an otherwise good tournament. I mean, made it to brackets yet again, after all.
Yeah, I mean this really was this was my goal. Like, I mean, obviously I want to win it all, but like as long as I made like the final stage of the tournament, I'm happy. Honestly, I feel like the community has gotten good enough, like on average, which I don't know. I feel like this is probably one of my most controversial takes in the community. Like, I don't want to say that execution doesn't matter, but I think it matters only up to a certain threshold, and I think that threshold is probably a lot lower than most people would assume. But the meta is like so well established now that it's rare that execution like really tilts the scales very often. More often, I say that. Like, I think Radical Sniper today had like a 3-second finish versus Dixon. So like it does matter. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like on average, it's really just your decision making that decides it more than the execution. So I mean, you look at this race, and I felt like I executed well. It was just a series of unfortunate decisions that just put me way behind MalXantholos. So like there's no amount of execution that's going to make up for that swamp dip. That's going to make up for that ice palace dip. It's going to make up for last locating the boots. So I don't know. I feel like at this stage, like most of the players are good enough to where, you just kind of have to make the correct decisions. Sometimes the best decisions are the correct decisions. Sometimes, some of the less, even Mal, like in the race room, was kind of, he wasn't sure if sticking around for Eastern Palace was technically the correct call. Well, I'll say like mathematically the best call, but at least for this seed, like it certainly was the correct one. So I don't know. I mean, I'm happy to be here. Like I think at this point, like most of the players are so good, you just kind of have to have a series of seeds that just gel with the way you like to route, and the first two seeds didn't gel with either of us, but this seed clearly was more in favor for Mal's decision making, and yeah, I mean, GG's, dude. You should feel good about the win. Like I'm happy to have raced you. I felt like it was a good series, and yeah, way to go, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, it was a very fun series indeed. Yeah, thank you for having this match.
And Mel, this will be your second year running making the top 32. So GG's on that.
Thank you.
And you've got Dracarys next. Not exactly a cakewalk through brackets.
I'm so excited about this match actually, because when I played my very first tournament back in 2020, I faced Dracarys pretty early in the brackets, and he just stomped me, of course, because I was a complete newbie in the game. And I'm so excited how this match will go now, 4 years later.
Oh, nice. Glad you'll be.
So maybe time for revenge?
Yeah. Maybe not.
But yeah, glad you'll get to face him again in any case.
Yeah, I'm excited for that series. Yeah, well,
so good luck to you with that.
Thank you so much.
Also from my side.
Thank you. Yeah, let's hope, or I hope that I'll get lucky with some plays. And I mean, I still think that this Eastern play was, I mean, it was a green pendant after all, and we didn't have a bow, so I think it made, I mean, I was lucky today.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad play. I just, like, I think it's kind of unclear as to, like, whether you should or you shouldn't, And for me, like, once I found myths, I was like, oh, snap, we're definitely moving this scene forward. Like, I'm not cleaning up Sphere 1 at this point, but I don't think it was a bad play to stay for sure. I would actually be interested to know, like, what the community feels about the decision.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question indeed. I mean, yeah, rando can be very interesting sometimes. When seeds are not super linear like this one. Yeah, well, other than that, I of course want to thank you for commentating and tracking and all of that, of course. And yeah, but I don't think that I have to say that much more. So thanks again for having this restream, and yeah.
Yeah,
Looking
shout
forward.
outs to our tracker Arbu. We certainly appreciate your work keeping us honest, like marking Ice Palace as a pendant when I totally missed it. Yeah, and GG's again to both of our runners. Please give them both a follow. You can see the links in chat. Phoenix, nice to work with you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
And it looks like the next race will be at 7:40 p.m. Eastern, so just under 2 hours. Coin Chaser versus Ninjembro. I believe that's a game 3 as well.
Yes, it's also game 3. I checked it.
And they'll be racing Cross Hunt on SpeedGaming 2. So check that out. Check out the schedule because we've got quite a few more matches later in the evening. Mostly game 3s at this point. Though also Maniacal and Kaysden are kicking off their round 2 matchups. So, as some of the players who've gone to 3 games are wrapping their round 1, some of the players who reach round 2 quicker are kicking that off. So, got a bit of a mix here. And links in the chat for checking all that. And let's see what else we've got going on that we can get you over to.
The next here on SpeedGaming Main will be a Super Mario Bros. 3 randomizer.
Right. So that starts at the top of the hour. So we will have that on for you very shortly. Stick around for that.
So, and also from my side, again, GG to both runners, and I wish Xantholos good luck in the round of 32. And yeah, as you said, it was a pleasure to commentate with you, Drowsy. Also, thanks again to our tracker, and I think that's all. Thanks everybody to joining us here, and we see us next time. Goodbye.